Welcome to datascience.show, the podcast where data science meets executive leadership. We talk with top AI and analytics thought leaders about turning data into real business impact. If you're a C-level leader or data expert shaping the future, you're in the right place.
3 weeks ago, a payments team let one ambiguous transaction pass, and it cost them $300,000 in chargebacks. Their models were fine. The workflow wasn't. If your predictions don't translate into the right human decision at the right time, you bleed money and control.
I'm your host, Mirko. We explore how data science and AI drive real business impact, straight from the leaders making it happen.
Today, we're focused on a practical problem: how to design and scale human-in-the-loop systems so your models convert to decisions that matter.
If you're a CEO, CDO, head of analytics, or a senior data leader, this is for you. We'll move past the theory and into the playbook. When to keep humans in the loop, how to draw decision boundaries, how to route cases, who owns what, and how you measure real value instead of chasing model accuracy as an end in itself.
Quick context. Picture teams running hundreds to millions of decisions a month. Payments, claims, regulated onboarding.
These are not lab models. Mistakes here cost money, compliance headaches, and reputation. I'm drawing on a composite of leaders who lived through that scaling grind.
They're shared learning. The technical model is necessary, but rarely sufficient. The real work is designing the hybrid workflow so humans and AI amplify each other, and you can run it reliably at scale.
There are 3 practical HITL patterns to keep front of mind: review, escalation, and augmentation. Review is where the model proposes a decision and a human validates it for high-risk cases. Escalation means the model handles routine cases and flags edge or ambiguous examples to a human. Augmentation is where the model enriches the human's view, surfacing likely next steps or confidence, while the human keeps final judgment.
Hold on. How do you pick a pattern in practice?
You map it to risk and ROI. High stakes, low volume, use review. High volume, edge cases, escalate. Where humans add judgment, augment. Then tune the choice for SLA and cost.
A concrete example. In fraud detection, teams often use escalation. Low-risk transactions auto-pass, high-risk transactions auto-decline, and the mid-range, that ambiguous zone, routes to analysts. Tune it too conservatively, and you swamp ops. Tune it too liberally, and fraud slips through. The business outcome defines the sweet spot, not the ROC curve alone.
Decision boundaries are the heart of scalable HITL. They answer a simple question: which cases need people and why? Start by designing boundaries along 3 dimensions: model confidence, business impact, and ambiguity cost.
Model confidence is straightforward. Pair it with impact. A low-confidence credit decision on a $1 customer doesn't justify human time, but the same uncertainty on a commercial loan does. Ambiguity cost captures how much downstream work or customer friction a wrong decision creates.
Routing logic must be explicit and measurable. Define SLAs for each route: time to resolution, allowed rework, and escalation windows. Put metrics on human throughput and cognitive load. Track the cost per reviewed case. If you don't instrument human cost, you'll be surprised at operating expenses when you scale.
One client started with a 20% review rate and found human costs were 6 times their projection because they hadn't accounted for training, rework, and idle time between batches.
Now, feedback loops. The goal isn't to collect a pile of corrected labels. It's to close the loop so the model steadily improves without creating manual maintenance nightmares.
Instrument corrections, define clear labeling rules, and automate training pipelines. Keep a single source of truth for corrected decisions and version your decision logic. Timebox retraining cadence and monitor concept drift. If you retrain on every human correction with no gating, you'll bake in noise and bias.
Which brings us to trade-offs: speed versus accuracy, cost versus coverage,
Accountability versus throughput. Decide by mapping to outcomes. Is faster throughput tied to revenue? Does an extra second cost churn? Or is legal compliance the dominant constraint?
Start with these 3 decision KPIs: decision accuracy versus business lift, cost per reviewed case, and time to resolution. Measure them weekly during pilots. I'll share 2 short stories that show what works and what fails. First, a payments team implemented an escalation flow for ambiguous declines, paired model confidence with merchant value, and gave reviewers a fast UI that showed rationale and similar past cases. Review throughput doubled and false declines dropped 40%, recovering revenue quickly.
Second, an insurer added a manual review queue but left the interface simplistic and provided no calibration training. Analysts hit alert fatigue, made inconsistent calls, and produced noisy labels that degraded the model. The failure was workflow and human support, not the model.
Leadership questions are where these programs live or die. Who owns the decision lifecycle? Create a cross-functional RACI with a single decision owner, typically product or decision ops, and a steering committee, including legal, compliance, and the business.
That owner must be empowered to set SLAs, fund human capacity, and enforce logging for auditability.
Capture model input, model output, confidence, human action, and rationale in your decision logs. Make the metadata immutable and easy to query. That level of detail lets you answer regulatory queries and board questions with evidence, not guesswork.
Add routine calibration reviews and an escalation path for disputed decisions. Those controls keep the system honest and auditable.
Incentives matter. If analysts are measured purely on throughput, they'll rubber stamp model suggestions. If they're punished for disagreement, they'll defer to automation. Design KPIs that balance quality and speed and tie part of performance evaluation to decision outcomes, not just agreement with the model. Run periodic calibration sessions where humans and models review the same cases and discuss disagreements openly.
Looking forward, models will improve and more decisions will shift toward automation, but risks persist. Automation bias, skill erosion, and complacency where monitoring lags.
The antidote is continual training, simulated edge case exercises, and keeping a percentage of high-skill human work so institutional knowledge survives. Over the next 12 to 24 months, invest in 3 areas. Decision ops tooling that captures rich context and supports routing and auditing. Data infrastructure that makes corrected decisions available for controlled retraining. And governance routines that include calibration, role design, and funding for human review.
Small pilots that instrument both cost and outcome metrics are the fastest path to decide whether to scale.
2 actionable moves you can take next quarter. 1. Pick one high-value decision. Map its full decision path end-to-end. Instrument human cost and business outcome metrics and run a time-boxed pilot with predefined stop-go criteria. 2. Mandate decision logging and a simple calibration cadence, even if it's monthly at first, so you build trust and an audit trail before you scale review rates.
That's the difference between models and value.
I'll leave you with this. Models give you predictions, but your business needs decisions. Instrument human effort, set clear decision boundaries, fund the ops that sustain review, and require auditable trails. Do that, and you cross the gap from experiments to enterprise value.
If you found this episode valuable, subscribe and share it with your network. And let's connect on LinkedIn. I'm Mirko Peters. We'll be back with more conversations on how data science and AI create real business impact. Until next time.
Thanks for listening to datascience.show. If you found value in this episode, subscribe, share it with your network, and join us next time as we explore how data science drives smarter decisions and better business outcomes.